my monitor. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for watching and joining Total Football Live tonight as we watch Wales play Turkey. And I thought, you know what, I've got a piano in front of me. I might as well play the Wales national anthem to cheer on the army from Wales and see if they can qualify for Euros 2024 tonight. Or are we going to have to wait until next? Well, I think it's when are the playoffs? Are they in March? I think they're in March. Are we going to have to wait until March to see them qualify? But for now, welcome to the stream. I do have a piano here, by the way, unless anyone's not sure, it is there. But I don't often use it for streams. I haven't used it yet, but I thought, you know what, let's do it. Let's do it for tonight because I was just basking out and I noticed that I could pretty much play the Wales national anthem from memory, which is interesting because I've never really properly learnt it. But there you go. That's a story for another day. So yeah, welcome to the stream. Tonight, Wales are playing Turkey at home. And it's a really, really, really big game. It's difficult to understate how big this game is for Wales. It may not end up meaning anything. It really depends on what happens between Croatia and Latvia, I think. Not Latvia, sorry. Croatia against Armenia. And obviously Croatia are at home, but Armenia, as we saw Wales play before, Armenia were a tough nut to crack for this Wales team. So I'd expect Croatia to have problems against them, but they are at home. Which with both of these teams being at home, I'd expect a Wales win, but I'd also expect a Croatia win, and that might end up being enough. But we're in for a night of drama tonight. As I look for stats. Are there stats here? Are there any? Not stats. Tables. That's what we're looking for because I want to be able to change this round. So yeah, obviously we watched England last night. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Get a little bit of information on what happened with England. I did watch the game, which is more than can be said for the other game that England played this week, which I didn't watch, and I really couldn't be bothered to watch. But that's the England group. I'm not interested in that. There you go. So yeah. I'll scroll down. Yeah, so England drew with North Macedonia. And oh, do you know what I'm just going to do? I have to do this. It's fine. England drew with North Macedonia, which is obviously not an ideal result. And I think a lot of snobbery is happening, I think, at the moment around England, and people are expecting England to go and win away to North Macedonia. Fair enough. I do think they should. But given the context of everything that's going on with England, they've already qualified. They qualified last month. So that meant that surely with I think this is the last game, I think, for England, actually, thinking about it. Let me just see if we can bring up the league table for England here. It was the last group of games last night for England, for everyone in that group. So there you go. It's already there. Yeah, so England drew with North Macedonia. They'd already not qualified in North Macedonia, but they've got 8 points. North Macedonia aren't a bad team. I think it's worth saying that. And the way I saw it last night, as an Arsenal fan, I was like, hey, can we just get through this without any Arsenal players getting injured? That'd be nice, because they're not. They're not really. I wouldn't necessarily say that they necessarily need to be playing in that game, but it ended up becoming a bit more of a let's play this. Let's play them because we don't have any other options, and that is kind of what it ended up being. If they'd have gone any further than Saka and Rice, I think you're looking at like Calvin Phillips and who else was it? Who came on? Cole Palmer. which is fine. I'm not, and again against this lot, I think it would have been fine. But the way that North Macedonia played last night was very, very physical for a game that really didn't matter to either team. England had already won the group, and North Macedonia guaranteed fifth or fourth. I think fourth actually. I think it was fourth. They guaranteed fourth, which is fine, but I think for England they would expect um, to win the game, but also I think wouldn't have expected necessarily such a. They didn't look like they expected such a physical game from them. But I do think they had North Macedonia had to play it that way. They didn't really have much of a choice, purely because they were, yeah, purely because of the deficit in quality between them and England. I think going forward, that's actually the to be honest, the goal that North Macedonia scored was better than the one that England scored. It was a really, really good finish. Wait, oh no, there's a penalty. I'm thinking of Wales. I think the goal that Wales conceded was actually really, really good. But the goal that England conceded was shocking because it was a penalty, and it was a penalty that should never have been given. But then England should have given a penalty away earlier, which was a Stonewall penalty, which somehow the referee didn't give. I thought the referee was shocking for what it's worth. I think it was absolutely shocking. Um, but yeah, I mean it was what it was in the end. I think England had so much possession in the game that it was very much a case of, can you break him down? Can you use that possession, get him behind? Then really in the first half, it didn't happen that often. The second half, it happened a bit more often. But then as soon as the subs came on, it was like Gareth Southgate was saying, okay, well, that's that then. Not Harry Kane, obviously, but I think after Harry Kane came on and then kind of became the catalyst to cause the goal that England scored. Um, they ended up um, taking off Saka, Foden. I can't remember. Saka, I can't remember who else came off. But there were a few changes, and I was like, well, what's the point? Like, you not that you either want to win the game or you want to just blood some youngsters. I don't think there's a place for there to be an either or like a midway, a midpoint. And yes, it's international football, and you don't get to see, or the international managers don't get to see their players that often. But you've got to say at this point of the season, given that you've got about 5 months until you play them again, until you play internationals again, I don't think it's worth the hassle of playing the big names in a game like that against North Macedonia. You pick a squad that's clearly not meant to be competitive, or that's not true. I think even if England chose a second-rate squad, it would still be pretty competitive against the two teams we played against. Was it Malta and North Macedonia? They could have picked a team from like the Championship, and it would have probably been competitive against them. So I don't see why you wouldn't just leave out, right, okay, Saka, um, Rice. I'm trying to think of others. Kane, why did he go? What is that all about? Uh, we know about Pickford giving on the goalkeeper a go. That's one thing I was surprised about. Why does Pickford play when you know about him and you could play someone like Ramsdale or Pope? It's just ridiculous. I don't understand that at all. Really don't understand it. And then you've got who else is playing? Playing Trent in midfield was an interesting choice. And I think at home against a middling team would be fine, but away from home, not so sure. I think in Germany in the Euros, I think it'll actually be really, really good. I think that could work really well, but it does depend a lot on how comfortable he is transitioning from the 8 to the 10 position. Because I think that's kind of what England want to do. It looks like that's what they want to do in their system. And I'm not sure if they're able to do that yet. They're just other players. I do think losing Madison was a big blow for England in terms of um, making that position work. Obviously, Bellingham losing out on Bellingham, I think, was a big problem. And I think England's first team probably doesn't include Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't think especially if you think about the World Cup. I don't think he played that often, if at all. Whereas you had players like Bellingham, Rice, um, who was the other one? Um, Bellingham, Rice. I've forgotten the other player. Who? Oh, Foden. Yeah, Bellingham, Rice, Foden, or Bellingham, Rice, Madison in that midfield. I can't see Foden being played as a wide man in the front three. I just don't think. I've seen him play there for Man City. He's not that great. I've seen him play there for England. He's not that great. He gets isolated way too much. And I think when you isolate Foden, he's not that good on the right at all. On the left, I think he could do more. But I think you've got like Rashford and Grealish who can occupy that role pretty well, and I think they're probably better options. Foden strikes me as the kind of player who plays as an eight, a progressive eight into a 10, and he will just do a bit of magic that'll unlock a defense. There was a couple of moments last night where that looked like it was going to happen, um, but I'm not sure if that's kind of realistic to expect even now of Foden. I just don't think he doesn't look like the kind of player that would be able to do that for Man City constantly yet. And if you can't do it for Man City constantly, forget about him doing it constantly for England. It's just not going to happen yet. But that's why I say yet, because if you think about it, we've got 6 months of next year before the Euros, and there's another month and a bit left of this year. 7 and a bit months before the Euros. That's a long time. That's a really, really long time. And we'll see what happens. But I think it's it's a tough ask for Foden. But the England team, well, I think we're going to move on from talking about England a bit here because I just don't think we necessarily need to. So this is what the Wales team look like at the moment. So we've got Ward, Lockyer, Rodon, Davies, Roberts, James. I can't read this because it's too small. There we go. Ampadu, Williams, Wilson, Broadhead, Johnson. Broadhead's playing. Okay, that's interesting. Well, if you're a Welsh fan and you're watching, who's Broadhead? I don't know who that is. He wasn't in any of my conversations that were happening last week when we were watching Wales on the weekend. That was pretty interesting. Roberts, I think Dan James is absolutely spot on. Wilson, I don't even know which Wilson that is, to be fair. I think it's the attacking Wilson. And Brennan Johnson's playing as well. Okay, so we've got James and Johnson playing, which is kind of what I was asking for before after the last game. It was what I was asking for after the last game. But can you honestly say that? I mean, look in that formation as well. They're playing a three at the back. Apparently, this is according to the BBC website, so we'll have to wait and see. In terms of the Turkey team, Shakir, Kadioglu, Akaydin, Badaki, Ozkakar, Yüksek, Ozkan, Sari, Omer, Aktakoglu. I recognise that one. I don't remember where from, but I recognise that one. And Yilmaz. Yilmaz I do recognise. Shakir I recognise. And Ozkan and Omer and Aktakoglu. I think I recognise a few of those names. But it doesn't look like a massively strong team. Might be famous last words, but I don't think it's not a crazy team. It does kind of make me wonder how on earth they've managed to finish top of this group. Having said that, I think if you look at the whole group, Turkey, Wales, Croatia, and then you've got Albania. What is it? Yeah, wait. Who else was it? I've forgotten the table now. Who was it? Armenia, sorry. I keep mistaking Albania for Armenia. Armenia and Latvia. It's a really weak group. Like, when you think about the fact that Croatia were top seeds, I suppose this is always going to happen if you include Croatia in a group, and the fact that Croatia are actually kind of fading lights really in the international scene, this group is much more weak than it would have been if you'd replaced Croatia with a France or I was going to say Italy, probably not Italy, a Belgium or someone like that, or in England. I think if you replace those two, then you're thinking about a much stronger group. But yeah, that's the team. It looks like a 4-1-4-1 the according to the TV for Turkey. For Wales, I didn't actually see what they said. For Wales, what do they say? Have they said anything for Wales yet? No. No one. Oh, they have 3-4-1, 3-4-2-1, or 5-2-3. I don't know. I think that's the kind of formation that you want to kind of set up with the ball, I suppose. But we'll see. It looks like it's Wales to kick off. It is a huge game, as I was saying earlier. Absolutely massive game. They are playing with the three at the back. It looks pretty clearly 3-4-2-1. Actually mirrors a little bit kind of the system that Man City play, but they probably play a bit more 3-2-4-1 in that way. So there's a lot more attacking players on the pitch. With this 3-4-2-1 feels a lot more defensive. It's likely to probably turn into a 5 at the back quite often, especially when Wales don't have the ball. But I don't understand. I remember talking about this last game that Wales played, and we watched Johnson coming on, and he came on halfway through the game. Well, yeah, it was about 50, 60 minutes in, and he came on and he just played on the right hand side, but no one was giving him the ball. And it was very, very frustrating to watch because I was like, well, why not give him the ball when they had options to do that and isolate him against the fullback? And every time he took on the fullback, he beat him every time. He's not going to get the opportunity to do that here because he's playing up front. And I don't know whether that's necessarily the right way of playing this game. Um, it looks like because on the outset it looks like Wales are trying to kind of almost dominate. They look like with their formation at least they want to dominate possession. If they want to dominate possession, you want to play Johnson as a wide man. But I suppose the problem with that is, do you trust him to track back defensively in the way that a Wilson would, for example? That's probably why they're not playing him. Yeah, and I think was it number 14 is playing. Yeah, or Roberts. Yeah, Roberts or James. James, I think, is apparently playing midfield according to BBC, but that's probably not correct. Here is Turkey on the ball, attacking from the right hand side. Interesting ball inside, but nothing's happening there. Ooh, they always got trapped, but they just about get out of it. It's a good start for Wales and Broadhead. I've never heard of Broadhead before, so I suppose I need to do a bit of research on that just to kind of see what's what. That's an interesting ball up front. That's going to come to John. No, it's not. Oh, that ball just pinballed around there. There goes the winger. He's pulling it in. I think that might have been James. Lots of pressure on the Turkey defence there, and they just kick it out. It's going to be a Wales throw. Nice play from the number 17. I think that was James. Yes. Absolutely brilliant. Right, it's going to be a throw. They're going to take the long throw here of Wales. Roberts from the right-hand side. And the goalkeeper's caught that really, really well. I remember when Turkey... Actually, this kind of brings me back to years ago. When was this? This would have been qualifying for the Euros in 2004. I think England in 2003 had to beat Turkey. This is way back in the days when the Euros had only 16 teams who could qualify. Teams like Wales had no chance of qualifying because of the fact that there was such a high bar to qualify. And England were playing Turkey in basically a one-off game to qualify for the finals. I can't remember if it was in Turkey or in England. I have a feeling it was away from home because if it was at home, they would have thought, oh, Turkey giving the ball away here. Wales running at the Turkish defence. He's going to have a go. It's just wide. I think that was Broadhead who had a go there. Yeah, really nice. Good play from Broadhead, but it was gifted to them by Turkey. And if Turkey have any thoughts of winning this game, they have to not give the ball away in those deep areas because Wales will punish. Well, I say that they had a few chances on Saturday, they didn't take them, but I think it's a different game Wales are playing here compared to before. So we are going to be keeping up with the other game as well. And that is the thing. So the other game in this group is Croatia against Armenia, and it's 0-0 at the moment. So it looks like the problem is if I navigate away from the game, I I can't see the action, and it just pauses. Well, it's a nice ball in behind, and they almost get in there, Turkey. I think Yilmaz is definitely going to be their biggest threat. That's a nice ball over the top for Wales. They're in behind now. Now that could be a handball. Not sure. Doesn't look like the players were appealing for that. Looks like Robert's going to be taking the throw. But yeah, we'll be keeping up with that game. It's a very it is just as important a game as this one right now because if Croatia win, then nothing happening here is going to make a big difference. That's a flick back. Almost given that he has given that away. Getting a lot of buffering pictures, but we are there. And that's cleared for a Turkey throw. Yeah, the Croatia game is a big one. Because obviously if Croatia win, nothing happening here really makes a massive difference. But we will see. We'll see what happens. It's not really a way. I suppose the TV might. They might update us as it's happening. You'd have thought they would because it is quite a big. It's an important result. And as it stands, if Wales were to go ahead, they would be going through because Wales need to win and hope that Croatia don't win. Basically, anything other than a win for Croatia, coupled with a Wales win, that's nice from Broadhead, and it's gone in. It's 1-0. Williams, sorry, shot from the edge of the box. Neco Williams, the Liverpool player, has scored for Wales, and they're winning 1-0. And right now, only right now, they're going through. Right now, they're going through. Only right now, though. It all depends. If Croatia end up getting a win, getting a goal, then whole thing's reset and Croatia are going through. This could end up being, and it does look like they're kind of like it's a great celebration, but they also kind of know that a lot of this is out of their hands, so they just need to play as well as they can. It's really nice. They get the ball in the midfield, spread it out to Williams on the left hand side. He comes inside, and it's just a really cultured finish into the bottom corner. It's really really nice. Hey, it is so nice that it's the kind of finish you'd be happy with if you were like a Thierry Henry. You would be. It's just a really really nice finish, controlled, so accurate. Goalie's getting nowhere near it. He doesn't even see it till really late. Robert Page is absolutely delighted with that. So are Wales, and well, we'll see what happens. But that's a good start for Wales if they can get this. If they can establish themselves as almost certain winners in this game, it puts a lot of pressure on Croatia to get that win against Armenia. Albeit I would expect them. That's a Turkish free kick there. Not particularly happy with that one, I don't think. But Ampadu it wasn't that bad. I don't think it was that bad. He just goes in a bit. No, I think he buys that. He buys that. Not happy with that one at all. Hey ho. Well, Wales are winning by 1-0 already. And well, if they manage to get this win, it's, I think at the very least, even if they win this game, and it's not necessarily um if it's not necessarily the what's the word I'm looking for? The win that qualifies them. There you go. So on the TV now they're showing us uh Wales would go through as results stand. That's only because Croatia are drawing. Now, if Croatia were to lose, it doesn't matter for Wales because Wales have to win regardless. If Wales were to draw and Croatia lose, I believe that wouldn't be enough. Saying that, hang on. Well, yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, that wouldn't be enough. Wales would have to win regardless. Yeah. Um. But yeah, at the moment they're winning. So there you go. They look pretty comfortable. It does look like the kind of game that might just come down to moments, though. And that's the only problem with this, I think. That's the only problem because Wales eventually, I think the psychology might take hold and they might just start to sit back and try to defend their lead. And they can't really afford to do that at this early stage. There's only 10 minutes gone. They need to press forward and try and take advantage of any Turkish nerves. Or maybe not even nerves, because remember, they've won the group. So um, for them, this is an extra game they didn't necessarily need to play. But they have to. And they won't necessarily be up for this in the same way Wales will be. So this is why you'd expect them to win. And for the same reason, you'd expect Armenia to probably lose to Croatia because Armenia are out. But as we saw between Wales and Armenia, um, albeit I think Armenia were very much trying to stay in because at the time they were still in the qualification process. Here's a chance for Wales to play through the midfield, but they've just given it away. There's Johnson, not Johnson, sorry, Broadhead. Um, they've they were still in it at the time, Armenia, so that's probably explains why they played so well. But I mean, it's Croatia you're playing against, World Cup finalists from 5 years ago. So and a very very good team, Luka Modric et al. Playing for them. Is Turkey on the ball, just kind of putting a bit of pressure on this Wales back line. It's a cross in, well headed out. And Turkey recycle possession. It's this is the kind of thing I don't think Wales can afford to happen. Um, oh, they have just given the ball away though. Turkey again, deep in their own half. Well, not deep in their own half. That's a nice ball into Johnson. He backheels it. Back to Broadhead again. That's not going to go anywhere though. Back to the goalkeeper. It's a tough old start this for Turkey. I think that it looks like it's set up now for a game where Turkey are going to keep the ball, try and play through the midfield, and they're either going to get through and challenge the Wales defence, or they're going to give the ball away in the midfield, and Wales will counter. And they've got that front three, which seems like a really good ploy by Robert. I know I criticised it earlier for playing Johnson in that front position, but hey, if he's given all the ball, if he's more available for the ball in that position than he was against Armenia, I think he could actually do a better job. I suppose that was the biggest criticism I had of Wales actually when that happened on Saturday was that they brought him on, but they didn't. Yeah, they brought Johnson on, but they just didn't give him the ball. I think they only got 2 involvements in the game, two moments when he was passed the ball in the entire second half because he came on about 50 minutes, 55 minutes. You've got to give him more of the ball than that. And I think against this Turkey team, you'd expect them to give him more if he's going to play up front. So that's good. Wales recover the ball pretty well in the deep of midfield. Oh, what heavy touch. That's a terrible tackle. Oh, okay. Referee is playing on. That's okay. It didn't look good. It didn't look good from my point of view, gotta say. Well, I was just playing out here. Turkey don't look like they're working a great deal. They're not working particularly hard off the ball, which isn't good against a team like Wales, who you probably need to work hard against this kind of team. That wasn't a good back heel from Wales, although he's just giving it away here, and it's going to be a corner to Wales. Well played. You can guarantee Wales. And this is the other thing as well. I think against Armenia, you couldn't. Like both teams were kind of working really hard against each other. But this Wales team are all, I think, that so far they've outworked this Turkey team, and that's why they're winning. Other than the fact that Nico Williams' finish was really, really good. Yeah, right. Let's have a look. I'm just gonna. Well, I don't want to check the score just before a corner. I can't. Oh, I can do that. Okay, that's for the back post. Oh, dangerous header, and that's hit the crossbar and gone over. I think. Goodness me, what happened there? Deep corner to the far post. It's headed back across goal, and the Turkish player heads it back over his own crossbar. It was a good corner that actually picks out the defender at the back post. Is it Lockyer? I think it's Lockyer. Johnson and the Turkish player just having a bit of a word with the referee. Artakoglu. 15 minutes gone though. Wales winning 1-0, and they've got a corner. They're lining up like 4 men on the edge of the box there. That's another deep corner. Goalkeeper's struggling, but he's got the ball pretty well there. And he's got a problem with his knee. But he's waving his hand, so I think he'll be all right. He's doing this thing, which, if you've ever played football, it's the kind of sign of, ow, that hurts, but I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. And usually, if a sign of the kind of injuries you worry about are injuries where players fall down and they don't move. If they don't move because they're in so much pain, that's when you worry about it. That was another late challenge from Wales. But you see a lot of injuries, a lot of people diving and falling over and rolling around and waving their hands about and screaming and all that kind of thing. And one of the things actually about COVID football was that it revealed how often players just fall over and scream for the lightest of touches. Yeah. So I seem to remember. Is that going to be a free kick to Wales? I don't know. Okay, if you give it a free kick to Wales there, why don't you just play on? Wales had the ball. So watch this. So he tackles. Well, he doesn't really tackle James. He pulls James to the ground. But there's another Wales player running in behind, grabs the ball and runs off into the distance, and referee stops the play. And so the goalkeeper is actually having treatment now. The Turkish goalkeeper after that impact. If he's got problems with his knee, obviously, if you're a goalkeeper, you have to push off both knees to be able to save shots. It's probably, I don't know whether it's as physical as an outfield player, but it is. You do need to be able to use those muscles in an explosive way to make saves. And if he can't lean on that knee, that's his game over. There's no point playing him in goal. You've got to play someone else. So we will see. It doesn't look like there's been any updates of the scores from the other games. No, it's still 0-0 between Croatia and Armenia. Good news for Wales. Although looking at the stats, it's 79% for Croatia in possession, 3 shots, 2 on target, 4 corners. Yeah, they're dominating. I wouldn't be surprised if Croatia end up going on and scoring at some point soon. I'm just going to see if we can get the stats seen up here. See if we can do this. There you go. Direct. Right. There you go. That should be fine. Right, let's show you what these stats look like. They're pretty conclusive in Wales' favour, apart from the possession. That's not bad. Definitely not bad. Oh, Wales just playing the ball out here. That's a nice ball. Deep. He's not going to get there, is he? What a shame. I think he's in on goal there if the ball to Roberts is just a little bit softer, he gets in. The goalkeeper's staying on, but I think that's more kind of holding the fort until the other goalkeeper is fit to play, because I think you can't carry on with that kind of injury. And if he gets tested and he tries to lift off that knee, I think that could be very, very painful. Oh, lovely ball into the midfield. That's another foul. Turkey, they're being outdone from just really direct balls through the midfield towards the front three of Wales. And Turkey, I think that because they're playing two in the midfield in that position, they're not able to track those passes and track the runners, which makes a big difference. I'm going to move those headphones, I think, because they're going to get annoying. Ball back to the Welsh goalkeeper, Ward. Just popping that off. Wasn't the best of passes there, but he's managed to make something of it. And still. Well, still have the ball. No, yeah, it always looks a bit of a lost cause, I think, that attack, because they just look like they're scrambling to try and keep the ball as much as possible. Turkey is starting. We saw this possession. You might see the possession stats at the moment. They're not great for Wales, although they've just won the ball back again here with only 3 men back for Turkey, and that's not great. Here goes. Oh, that's a terrible challenge. Oh, wow. Ref isn't giving a free kick. That was a terrible challenge. It was a nice bit of dribbling. He knocks the ball inside the defender. Yeah, it's going to be a foul now to Turkey. That's ridiculous. So Wales get the ball. The winger gets the ball. Johnson now squaring up with a Turkish player for some reason. Yeah, referee's giving a booking. I don't blame him, because he's just being stupid. Why would you do that? Your team's in control of the game. There's no need to go crazy with that kind of thing. He goes there. He definitely takes him out. It's not a penalty, so they can't. Actually, you know what? From that angle, I think what happens there is that Wilson actually cuts inside him and then kicks out at the defender and then goes down. Obviously, there's contact, but the contact's initiated by Wilson. Interesting. I think you've got to be very, very careful with that kind of play, because obviously you end up kind of causing fouls yourself by doing that kind of thing. So, not sure about that. Here go Wales. Oh no, Wales. Sorry, Turkey have the ball in the midfield. Again, comfortable position. Wales are slowly but surely just edging deeper into their own box. That's a nice ball in behind. That should be fairly straightforward, and Purdue should clear up. It'll be a bit tricky to try and keep that. Yeah, Turkey throw. And that should be a Turkey corner now. Yeah. It's yeah. Not particularly sure about that, to be honest. Well, it's just the way that Wales are playing. There's a corner to Turkey, clear by Wales. It reminds me a bit of watching Spurs for the last couple of years, before this season, obviously, where they've just kind of sat back, defended, and then hit teams on the counter. Fine, but I think it's a really risky tactic. That long ball, That went right across the Welsh penalty area, right to the Turkish wing on the other side, and he just couldn't control it. Goodness me. That was nice, though. It was nice that he just doesn't anticipate. I think what he's expecting is a Turkish player head to get on the end of that. And then when he realizes he can get to it, he just gets there too late. It's a bit of a shame. Just going to check on the score line of the other game again. It is still 0-0. 4 shots, 3 on target. I wonder how many shots Croatia are going to rack up, because that's only like 25 minutes in. A nice ball there. Wales do keep it in the midfield. This is where they could be dangerous. They've played it out to the wide man on the right-hand side, to Roberts. He's been a really good outlet so far for Wales. It's been really, really good. That's a ball in behind for Johnson. He's got pace. He might get there. Oh, my days. What is that challenge? What is that challenge? He gets away with it, I think, because he gets the ball. But I tell you what, he is very, very lucky. Because if Johnson knocks more, we'll see. Let's just have a look, because they've got this replay. You know what? I think he touches the ball right at the end of the tackle, right at the end, and that might save him. But yeah, no, the VAR aren't getting involved. I can't believe that, man. I personally think that's a penalty. You can't just go diving in like that and expect to not give a foul. I think that's ridiculous. I think they've bottled that one. It's not even. Bear in mind, I'm English. I'm not Welsh. I'm English, but that's a penalty. Ridiculous. They are playing on the corner to Wales. Flicked out and shot skied over the bar. Wales. They do play a lot better at home. I think it's worth saying as well. This Welsh team are way better at home than they are away from home. Now that's potentially offside as well against Johnson. So whether that would have, if that were a penalty, they might have just gone back for the offside anyway. So maybe it's not really much of an argument. But it's not. It's the second time that a Turkish player has got. And each time they've struggled to. Well, that's a nice ball in behind for Turkey. Well, that's, I think, it's handball against the Turkish player. Yeah. I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, so they've gotten. Wales have gotten deep into Turkish territory. Then the Turkey defender is just kind of thrown in a challenge out of nowhere. And a lot of the time, I think if this were kind of top level Premier League football, you'd be giving fouls left, right, and centre for that kind of challenge. Because of this level of football that we're at, I don't think there's a guarantee, especially with some of these referees. I'm not sure where this ref's from, but I think a lot of the mainland European referees, especially in kind of lower league countries, they're not going to give fouls for that kind of challenge, really, unless it's absolutely blatant. Another ball in behind for Johnson. And this is the thing, if Johnson can... Oh, that's an interesting touch. Gone wide again. Johnson is such a good threat from the wide position. From the central position, I think. When you're in a position where you're just playing counter-attacking football and you can allow Johnson to run into the channels, that's the third time now that Johnson's gotten onto a ball played in behind the Turkish defence. I mean, it's not like they're going to lump long balls up to him for him to head down. They're not going to do that. But he's running in behind and claiming the ball from a deep position. Very impressive so far from Johnson, I think. And Wales overall. Remember, this is a Turkey team that have won the group, and they've done pretty well. I seem to remember they did. I can't remember if they did well in the World Cup. I'm going to check that after at half time. I think just kind of see. There's a ball gone wide for Roberts, but it's going to be a corner for Wales. I don't remember whether Turkey did well, did even get to the World Cup or did well in the World Cup. I think they did. There's something like I've got a sense nagging me that they got to the World Cup and they did really well. But I think I'm confusing them with Morocco because Morocco did very, very well. They got to the, I want to say quarterfinals or semi-finals. I think it was the quarter. I think they were the semi-finalists. This is like it's drawing on memories from almost a year ago now. So long, long time ago. Wilson over the corner, taking his left foot, and he's complaining at something. That's a nice one. Gone deep, but well headed out. Ampadu's going to head this over. I think Johnson's offside. Oh my goodness me! That corner. Okay. Well, the the Welsh player, I think that's Johnson, is just down on the floor clutching his leg. What's happened here? So he's just gone. He's absolutely leathered him, man. He's absolutely leathered him from behind. He's gone in. It's like he's kneed his thigh, the under his thigh. Goodness me, that's a horrible challenge. What's he doing? Again, I'll refer you to what I said earlier. If this were I think they're motioning for the goalkeeper to get, and this might be part of the problem as well. The goalkeeper's not able to claim these crosses because of the fact that he can't leap off the floor with that knee, the knee that was injured right it was about 20 minutes ago now, and I think it's a bit ridiculous that he hasn't been subbed yet. We've got to remember where this ref is from, which I don't actually know, but I think it's ridiculous that you don't give a free kick for that. It's ridiculous. A penalty even. Because of the way he goes in to challenge the ball, he's just like, yep, I'm just going to knee you in the back. I'm going to knee you in the back. Get rid of you. And I was thinking from Wales' point of view, at least there's a player injured, so there's plenty of time for VAR to have a look at it. But like on their record so far, it's not been good, VAR tonight. And I don't remember it being particularly good against England last night either. So it's not popping up on TV as to whether there's any VAR check going on. So I'm assuming it's not. And imagine if this happened in the Premier League, there would be riots. It would be ridiculous. So there is a sub goalkeeper coming on for Turkey. Oh dear, this Wales. I tell you what, they've had a couple of chances outside of the goal, but I think mainly they do deserve their lead more because Turkey just haven't produced anything of note. Croatia is still drawing 0-0 with Armenia. Armenia have had a shot on target, but they're still drawing. What are the other scores? We've got Netherlands beating Gibraltar 2-0 after Gibraltar lost. What was it? What was the score? I can't remember what the score was. Was it? I can't remember. It was like Portugal or something like that. It's absolutely thrashed them. Oh no, France wasn't it? Yeah. Greece drawing 0-0 with France. Andorra 0, Israel 1. Kosovo 0, Belarus 0, and Romania 0, Switzerland 0. It doesn't look like. What's he doing? Oh, they're making two changes. Yazici is coming on. Interesting. Okay, they're making an outfield change as well as a goalkeeper change. That might be more because of the rule that you can only use 3 instances of subs through the game outside of half time. I wonder why you wouldn't just keep that back for half time though. That's a strange move, unless someone's injured. But it is a Wales corner. I'd be well disappointed if I were Wales, man. I'd be well disappointed because they've had 2 good shouts. Definitely one absolutely nailed on shout for a penalty. The other one less so nailed on, but definitely a chance. Here's the corner, deep. Goalkeeper's nowhere near it. Cleared though, and now Turkey could be on the. Oh, goodness me, that was a chance. And the way Turkey press. Oh, is that a free kick? What's happened here? Oh, I think the referee's gotten in the way. So the way that Turkey press, I think it's got to be said that yeah. The way that Turkey press, if Wales get the ball in a breakdown in the midfield, They can just put one straight ball in behind. If a Welsh player can time his run well enough, he's just in on goal. That's another foul. No. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, right. That was a very delayed uh, decision by the referee. Not a fan of that. Wales free kick. This is what, 50 yards out thereabouts. About 10 yards from the penalty area, from the not from the penalty, from the halfway line. Pretty central. 45 yards, I'm assuming. Chipped to the wing. It's headed straight behind from Davies. Wales are going through, though. They're going through. 10 minutes left of the first half. They're going through, but in a very classic end of group style. They're waiting on results from elsewhere. And if this result stays the same and the other score is similar towards the end of the match, you can guarantee there are going to be nerves in this Welsh team. Because if they, and I'm going to say this now, if they do manage to qualify, I think it's an amazing achievement. Now, that's an interesting tackle. What's he done there? If the ref gives that, I think it's. The problem is now you just know that Turkey will probably get a controversial decision that they just do not deserve, and that would be pretty annoying. I think here's Turkey on the right hand side. That's a lovely ball in. Oh, it just flicked up towards the goalkeeper in the end, and he just about gets there. Just about gets there. He's very, very close. Wales just keeping it inside their own half for the moment. And of course they are kind of they're kind of slaves to the foot. Oh dear, he's just absolutely walloped that into the Welsh defender, and the Wales in the end, Ampadu will carry it away. That was a bit unfortunate. Johnson. Now, see, that's not what Johnson's going to be good at. Is holding the ball up. A couple of good tackles, but the Wales get the ball out wide, left hand side. Don't think James is going to get that, or whoever that is. Just Wales just look a little bit leggy already. That's concerning. Can't afford to do that. Can't afford to be doing that. I suppose both teams are going to be pretty leggy at this stage. It has been quite. It's been a relatively fast pace opening 35 minutes. But I still think Wales should have had a penalty. It's a bit ridiculous that they haven't had a penalty in this game. A couple of challenges, and it's more just because of the recklessness of the challenges from Turkey that should be punished. And it's the kind of thing I'm used to watching Premier League football so much. Why would you? That part of the game is tackling well. If you can't tackle well, you should be punished for that. And if you can't tackle well in the penalty area, you should be doubly punished for that. Um, which does kind of think it does kind of make me think why. I can understand from one point of view why you wouldn't have red cards for players who try to go for the ball. Um, when it's last man, but at the same time, oh, it's a nice ball. He's managed to get it. It's potentially 3-on-3 here for Wales going forward. He's just tried to get it across, but it's well blocked by Turkey there in the end. They just about clear it. That was a chance for Wales there. It's an example of when the ball breaks down. The front three of Wales matches up really well against the defense of Turkey when they've got the breakdown. It is cleared in the end. Turkey just recycling the ball in their own midfield. They're still Still got it in the midfield there. We talked about England a little bit earlier. Oh, that's another terrible challenge, man. Another terrible challenge from Turkey. Not doing anything useful there. Yeah, we talked about England yesterday, or earlier today, about the game from yesterday. Thought Saka played really, really well as well. Thought Saka played very, very well. Looked like a threat for as long as he was on the pitch, for as long as he got the ball, which sometimes wasn't as often as you'd like. But yeah, played very well. And then I think it was just a bit telling that you had someone like Watkins up front who he's not a target man striker. He's a player that you play the ball in behind and he can run onto it, and very much like Johnson's playing in this game actually. And if England do have a Harry Kane injury in the Euros and are without him for whatever reason, I think that's a problem for England because they just don't have anyone else who can do what Kane does. There's talk of obviously Watkins is one of them, but you've got like I think Nketiah's had a go. You've had I'm trying to think who else has even been playing for the striker for England. I suppose there's an argument to play Rashford up through the middle. Don't think he's really good enough to do that. And what you don't want is a situation like we had. I can't remember whether it was against France or Scotland, um, but we just didn't really. We needed to make changes up front, and we didn't have the players to be able to change anything. Whether that's just because like tactical nous is just lacking from Southgate, which I'd accept. I just don't think he's necessarily a particularly brilliant coach. But then I don't think he necessarily needs to be here's a ball in the box for Turkey. It's cleared in the end. They don't necessarily have to be brilliant tactical minds to be able to do well in international football, but I do think that there is also just a bit of a lack of resource up front in that central striking position. For England, it's the only place I think in the whole squad that really lacks. You could say we've got good goalkeepers, we've got good kind of good defenders. Harry Maguire will get onto. Goodness me. But you've also got good defenders, good, definitely very good midfielders and good attack. Just striker. It's just striker that we're missing. And I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Obviously, Ivan Toney has had a go. That's a flick on. Oh, there's a chance for Turkey. Oh, he's just smashed it over the bar. It's a ball in the box that just flicked on to the back post. And he takes a touch and then just smacks it over the bar with his left foot. It's an awful finish. It's really nice play, though. Really good attacking play. And yeah. How far above the ball, above the goal does this go? Yeah, relatively far. High and wide. Not particularly handsome. 3 minutes left before half time. At the moment, this set of results is good enough for Wales to qualify tonight. But they're very reliant on Croatia. And just as I say that, looks like Croatia have scored. Oh, that's a death knell. That is. I don't think they're going to relinquish that lead either. So that's a real shame. Here's Johnson. Oh, good save by the goalkeeper. Great chance. Well, I don't even know. Was it even a chance? He struck that. He dug that out of nothing. It's just a long ball. It's a long, hopeful throw in. It comes off two Turkish defenders. Johnson turns and shoots. I mean, you need that kind of luck as a Spurs player to be able to succeed, don't you? But yeah, that Croatia goal. I was just talking about the fact they're kind of reliant on a goal not happening for Croatia. So if they end up getting a goal, obviously Croatia, Wales will just kind of have to hope now that Armenia can equalise. But based on the score, based on the results and not the results, the stats, are not in Croatia's, not in Armenia's favour at all. Budimir has scored for Croatia. Ball in behind now for Turkey, and Ward risked quite a lot there, to be fair. Turkey have the ball in the midfield again. This is starting to happen a bit more. We did say this earlier, though. It seems to be the pattern of this game. So they're setting up. So Turkey will build the ball through the midfield, slow, patient passing, playing it around the Turkish. Oh dear, that was shocking though. And in the end, Wales don't bring it away. It's a long shot, well blocked by Ampadu. That was from 40 yards out, though. I would have probably not minded that one going through, to be fair. That's switched out to the right-hand side. Turkey have the ball again. In a threatening position. That's nice. It's just, the touch was just a bit too heavy from Artakoglu. It's gone out for a goal kick. That was very good play, though. I'll tell you what, pretty close to a penalty as well. If the defender just puts his leg out a bit further, I think that's a penalty for Turkey. So it'll feel like they're losing almost at this point, Wales, given the fact that that Croatia are winning, but they can't really allow that game to get in their heads. They need to just focus on getting the result here, and if they go out with a win but not going through, fair enough. As it happens, what we will do actually at halftime is talk about who will potentially be in the playoffs. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong if you're watching, but I don't know if you have to have done well in the Nations League in order to get to the playoffs for this, or do you just finish third in the group? As you can see there, Wales are they're on 14 points, and Croatia are on 16, as well as Turkey, actually, as it happens. Croatia go above Turkey if the results stay the same. So there you go. They haven't actually won the group. Interesting. That means that there is something on this for Turkey, more than I thought, to be fair. But still, like, with it, I don't know whether necessarily Turkey particularly care about of being a first seed. That was a foul. Yeah. It's great, easy for a referee to give a foul in the middle of the penalty area as well, by the in the middle of the pitch, rather than in the penalty area, because that was much less severe than what happened in the penalty area on the other side. So there you go. We've got 2 minutes of added time left. This game has gone pretty far, and it's 1-0 half time in Croatia. It's kind of disappointing end to the first half, even though I don't think Wales can necessarily be disappointed about their performance. They're doing all that they can do, but at the moment they're paying the price for not beating Armenia. In Armenia, that's a terrible challenge. Where's the referee given this free kick? Oh, it's for Wales. Okay, right. Chance potentially to get the ball in the box here for Wales. I would like to see the referee just get a few cards out for these Turkish players, because there's a lot of challenges. That's probably the fourth or fifth one that's gone in that's been very aggressive and a little bit too over the top, I think. But then again, I mean, I haven't actually figured out who the referee is in this game. We're going to wait till halftime. We're also going to talk about the playoffs. Seeing as that might be where this is going, it's kind of, we thought this is where this was going. Here's the free kick. Swung into the box, the far post. It's beaten everyone. We've gone out for a throw to Turkey. Yeah, so the playoffs, I think, is third place in every group. But I don't know how many groups there are, so I might be wrong there. But we will see. And Turkey just, well, yeah, they need to obviously need to get a goal. If Turkey get a goal, they guarantee top in the group with a point. But obviously this is Wales playing away against Wales, not an easy game. Um, Even Wales in this transitional state are a difficult team to play against away from home. And they seem to have set themselves up that. It's half time. There you go. Half time whistle. 1-0 to Wales, but they are not qualifying at this point because of the Croatia result. The scoreline in Croatia being 1-0 to Croatia, and they've dominated that first half. 68% possession to 32. 12 shots to 3. 6 on target to 1. 6 corners to 2. 1 foul to 5 fouls. Crazy. Yeah, they are definitely not at it. Not at it at all. We're looking for some drama in the second half. I think we definitely need to hear some more stuff from Croatia. Let's have a look at the let's have a look at these tables, because I'm not sure how it. In fact, you know what I need to do? I'm just go to the actual official website, because probably the best way of doing this. So qualifying rules. Right. So how does it work? There are 3 of the 24 places. Okay. Okay. So there are games in March, 21st and 26th of March for the normally the group winners of leagues A and B teams are already qualified. Next best ranking. I mean, this is the problem with this system, is it's just so complicated. Because you gotta basically look at the who's done well in the Nations League from the previous system. So okay, so who qualified then? The Netherlands, Denmark, Switzerland, Austria. Wait, what? Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. So Netherlands, Croatia, Spain, and Italy have all qualified. So then those places would go to Denmark, Portugal, Belgium, Hungary. They've all qualified as well. Oh no, Croatia. So Croatia haven't already qualified. Hang on, I'm just going to plug my phone in. Oh, try to at least. Never mind. Yeah, so Croatia haven't technically already qualified, but they will have done if these results stay the same. But we've also got. I'm assuming that's charging. I have no idea. Hmm. Uh, hmm. Think Denmark are qualified. Not sure. Not sure what the. Oh yeah. Okay. There's some Nations League finals in June 2023, which has already happened. I don't know who won the Nations League. Netherlands or Spain? I think it might have been Spain. I think it was Spain. So I can't make head or tail of this. So Israel, Bosnia, Serbia, and Scotland. Scotland have already qualified, so I think it goes to just the remaining third place teams outside of that, if there aren't enough teams to qualify. I'm not sure. It's very, very confusing, but there you go. Georgia, Greece, Turkey, and Kazakhstan are the 4 best C League teams, and then you've got Estonia, Latvia on the D League team. I'm very confused. That's the overall ranking of the Nations League teams. Like anyone really cares about that kind of thing? I don't think they really do. But this is what the UEFA website says. So, 3 of the 24 places at Euro 2024 will be determined by the playoff spots. Only 3 of the 24 places at Euro will be determined by playoff spots by the Nations League. 12 teams will be selected based on their performance in the Nations League, not one of the group winners of Leagues A, B, and C. Oh, just A, B, and C. So not D. Okay. But if they've already qualified, they're replaced by the next best ranked team in their league. If there's not enough qualified teams in the same league, they'll start the next league, finishing with D. Okay. So, how the playoffs work. So finals, fixtures after the qualifiers. So they'll deal with that after that. 6 semi-finals on the 21st of March, and then 3 finals on the 22nd. Okay, so these are one-off games. These aren't 2 legs like we used to do them. So there's only going to be 3 teams that actually get through these playoffs. That's if you're Wales, you're a bit you don't want to be going through those playoffs really. You want to just qualify tonight if you can. Okay, the playoff draw happens on the 23rd of November, which is Thursday, which is interesting. 12 teams. How would the playoffs path be formed? November. Okay, so at the moment, what? Oh my goodness, they couldn't make this more confusing. I don't think it's possible to make it more confusing than what. Okay, so Croatia take the last automatic qualifying spot. What the playoff brackets look like? So it'll be Georgia against Luxembourg, Greece against. Where's Wales here? Oh, they are here. Wales will play Finland, Ukraine. Interesting. So they've got the. Thankfully, they've made it a little bit simpler by putting this kind of into context. So the semi-finals would be Georgia against Luxembourg, Greece against Kazakhstan, Israel against Ukraine or Iceland. I think Ukraine finished 3rd in their qualifying group, so it'll be them. Israel against Ukraine, Bosnia and Herzegovina against. Ooh, I don't even know. Who could that be? Finland? I don't know. Finland, presumably. And Poland against Estonia, Wales against Finland, Ukraine, or Iceland. How are they going to tell who that could be? So Wales' path to the finals basically is either win tonight and hope that Croatia don't win, or they play Finland, Ukraine, or Iceland in the semi-finals, followed by a final against Poland or Estonia. Likely to be Poland in that case, I would expect. That means that wow, Poland have got an easy. That's an easy game against Estonia. That's crazy. Okay, but if the Wales, yeah, so okay, they've given us 2 different permutations of whether Croatia or Wales take the last automatic playoff spot. So okay, so they only 2 teams get to go through from Finland or Ukraine and Iceland because they're all presumably they all finished level in terms of their positions in the Nations League. That's interesting. Hmm. Okay. Poland, Wales, Estonia, and 1 team to be drawn from. Oh, okay. So they're all going to go through to these playoffs, but they're just going to have to disperse which team goes into which pot. So Estonia, Poland, and then Wales play one of the other 3 teams from from the Finland, Ukraine, Iceland path. Hopefully that makes sense. It'll make a lot more sense when they finish qualifying, that's for sure. But at least there's something to talk about. they've they've really made it complicated, haven't they? I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, and I think it might be the only. Oh, we talked about this before, actually. The fact that this is the only nation out of the home nations that haven't qualified who still have a chance of qualifying, and I think when we get to um, that international break in March, we'll probably be watching those games as well and cheering on Wales to getting through. I think they've got a chance as long as it's not Ukraine. I would be concerned if they have to play Ukraine. Finland and Iceland, I think I'd be fine with that for Wales. I think they would feel like they'd have a good chance of qualifying. And then Poland or Estonia, I'd be concerned about Poland just because Lewandowski plays for Poland and he's a very, very, very good player, obviously. Whether he's fit or not, I suppose, is another question. But it's a really, really big deal. And also, Wales will get a home draw, I think. Looks like Wales get a home draw because um, they're higher ranking. So that means that the host, but then when you get to the final, the hosts are drawn from lots, so you could be playing at home against Poland or away against Poland. And I seem to remember, was it Wales or was it Scotland? Someone was done over by the fact they basically had to play away from home in qualifying in the final, and they'd lost. I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was Wales. It might have been the last Euros, actually. I'm sure that Scotland and Wales both got to that, though. I can't remember. But yeah, I remember seeing that and thinking, well, if you're just done over by a draw rather than just playing the games in a neutral venue, which I think is what you should be doing, really. You should, given the fact that there's no way of knowing it, surely you just play them in a neutral venue. Or bring it back to I don't know why they involve the Nations League in this, because it's just not. I don't think it should really be relevant for this. It shouldn't be relevant for European Championship qualifying. I think it should just be its own thing. Let it grow in popularity over time, become its own little tournament. And um, in the meantime, get and obviously award. I think you award qualification spots for the European Championships based on that tournament, but you don't try and link it into the playoffs for this qualification process because that just A, it complicates it, and B, you end up in a situation where you're given a, a kind of fortunate advantage to one team over another because they're having to draw lots to see who hosts the finals. I don't understand that at all. I think that is ridiculous. But there you go. We're still not quite ready to start the second half just yet. But that's what it would be. So it would be potentially Wales against Finland, Ukraine, or Iceland, followed by a final against Poland or Estonia. If Wales weren't to get through tonight, but they obviously still finished third. In fact, does it even matter if they? It's hard to based on it doesn't say anything about where they actually finish. So in theory, then Wales could have finished last in their group and they still get the playoffs, which is another thing I don't like. I think it should be, if you look down the list of teams, looks like Croatia have kicked off in the second half already. If you look down the list of groups, how many groups are there? Goes up to Group J. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So 10 teams. You need 24. You need 24 qualifiers for this tournament. So that's obviously the top two from each, leaving 4 left over. You obviously got Germany. That makes it 3. So you need 3 from another 10. Yeah. You need to get 3 from 10. Which might be why they've done this like this, possibly because numbers 3 out of 10 is a difficult one. You might have to do. I mean, there's nothing wrong, I think, with the whole. Just play it as if it's the best 3 or the best. Because I mean, they do this in the This is the ridiculous thing. They do this in the major tournament where they say it's the best runners up or the best third place teams get through. If you're one of the four best third place teams out of the six groups, you qualify for the last 16 in the tournament. What kind of rubbish is that? You end up with all sorts of weird permutations where teams could. I remember England playing the last game of their Euros a couple of. So, like, what was it, 2021? And it didn't matter what they did in the last game. In fact, they were pretty much through after winning the first game, which is just I don't understand. And then it became about, oh, would you rather win to win the group, and then you might not play a third place team? Well, I'm sorry, you might not play a second place team, you might play a third place team. But if you then came second, you avoid teams like France and Germany and Italy and that kind of thing. It's like, well, what? It just gets stupid. Just keep the tournament simple. Right, we're looking like we're starting the second half here. And I think I've ranted enough about that. Wales just have to get their head down. They know what the score is. They'll know what the score is in the other game. Get their head down, get a good result here, move on, and potentially move on to the playoffs in good spirits. I think the last thing they'll want to do here is concede this lead and potentially lose or draw the game. Especially if there was a chance that they could potentially have won tonight and potentially qualified. So they've got to do that. But if you got, I think you probably look for the best 8 third place teams. That would be for me, or not even that. It would have to be the best 6. Or you look at, and this is where it gets a bit ridiculous. You look at the best, all 10 third place teams, and then the 2 best 4th place teams. Which again just kind of shows how ridiculous this qualification process is, because you can look, you're potentially looking at finishing 4th in a group and yet still being able to qualify through playoffs, albeit through kind of 2 stages of playoffs, 2 one-off games to qualify. I just think that, yeah, all in the interest of money, which we understand. A lot of it is about the money behind the game. That's why a lot of these tournaments are getting bigger. That's why we're introducing the Club World Cup, I think, next year, or the year after next. Yeah, it's the year after next, I think, is replacing the Confederations Cup. And obviously the World Cup's getting bigger when we go to the US, Canada, and Mexico. So that's going to be 48 teams, I think. So, yeah, not a fan. A lot of that, because I prefer. I remember talking. I think I was talking about this earlier, and we were saying that back in, what was it? Back in the 90s, the early thousands, the World Cup obviously still only had 32 teams, and that's been the case for quite a long time, to be fair. And that I understood, because I think there's a much broader range of culture and styles that you can get from a World Cup. But there's not a lot of. I don't think there's anywhere near the same kind of range in the European Championships. Generally speaking, a lot of European teams play a very similar way. Whereas if you go to a World Cup, you're seeing obviously the European style, which is very kind of possession based. Then you've got the South American style, which is either extremely aggressive or extremely flair based. Then you've got the African style, which is often extremely athletic, not necessarily great technically, but their kind of athletic ability to get up and down the field is really, really good. And then you've got the kind of Asian sides of things, like your Japans, your South Koreas, your I'm trying to think of Wales could potentially be in here. Johnson's taken the shot on. Great save by the goalkeeper there. That was really nice. Yeah, so you got your South Korea, Japan, and those kind of teams, very hard work, ridiculously hard working, and pretty good technically on the ball as well. Not necessarily the paciest. Or no, that's not true. Not necessarily the most physically strong often quite physically weak teams. That's all in the World Cup. That's a terrible corner. That's a shocking corner. What is that? Has that gone out for a goal kick? Or was it a throw? What happened there? I think he's given a free kick to Turkey there. So yeah, that kind of culture and that contrast is available in the World Cup. In a Euros, you're not going to get that. You're definitely not going to get that. And I don't think there's a massive variation of styles in European international football. It is probably the most varied of all of the different confederations. But that was a nice little turn from Turkish player there. But it's nothing to write home about. So why you'd want more of that lack of contrast in your tournament? It doesn't make for a better viewing spectacle at all. It just makes for more games. But then if you want more games, surely you just have everyone play in the tournament and play it for longer. Just play more games between the same 16 teams. I would prefer that. So that's shot from outside the box, well over. Yeah, I'd much prefer that myself. I'm not a fan of this idea. You can make it 24 teams, you can make it 32 teams, and it's absolutely fine. I would almost prefer, if you want more games, why not do, and this might be crazy, but I remember the days when, this maybe sound really old now, when the Champions League had 2 group stages, and that was amazing. I remember thinking, and I remember, I obviously wasn't really in at the time. When was this? Like 2002, 2002, 2003. Don't know about 2003, but definitely 2002. Oh no, yeah, it was actually, because I think they brought the last 16 stage in um, much later on in 2004. But in 2002, 2001, 2003, they had this first group stage, which is all 32 teams. Then they did a second group stage, which happened around kind of late. I think it started before Christmas and finished after Christmas. I think, I'm not absolutely sure. But it was an amazing level, because you got the 32 teams. The first group stage was usually a bit of a cakewalk for the big teams. So your Arsenals, your Man Uniteds, Inter, Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid's. They usually won most of the games they played in that stage. But then when they got to the last 16, they didn't go to a knockout tournament like they do now, but they went to a group stage, a second group stage, which was the same format where everyone will play each other twice. I think might have just been once actually. I need to look this up actually. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they played each other twice, but it did make for a lot of games, which was what they wanted. They wanted to have loads of games. Here's Wales just like harrying outside the penalty area. Ball on to the right hand side. Could play it inside here. Ampadu, that was nice. That could have been a penalty. He falls over. I don't think it's a penalty. I think he takes the shot. That's fine. Wilson's doing this thing again. And Yaziki's just got booked captain for Turkey for remonstrating for the ref. But yeah, that second group stage was so exciting purely because of the concentration of good teams at that stage. And imagine now, yeah, it's not a penalty. That's never a penalty. Imagine if you had that now in the Champions League. You think about the teams that qualify for the last 16, you're guaranteeing a couple of games between a Man City and a Bayern Munich, or a Man City and, because I think country protection was still there to an extent. I think you'd obviously have 2 first place teams and 2 second place teams in each group, but you're looking at like potentially big games, which weren't be all and end all for those teams that played in those, like the top seeded Bayern Munich, Man City, Real Madrid, Arsenal. But you would have those big games, and there could potentially be quite a lot riding on those. So, but then of course it went to quarterfinals and it was a big at that point. The competition felt massive, and obviously that set up. I think at that time on one of those games was the Real Madrid Man United game where Ronaldo scored that amazing hat trick at Old Trafford, and that that is kind of missing a bit from a lot of competitions, not just the Champions League. I think that the Champions League for me now doesn't really get interesting. This might change this season, but in the last few years, it hasn't really gotten interesting until the last sort of the quarterfinals. Sometimes not even the semi-finals, because the quarterfinals. I think if you think back to when Liverpool won it, they kind of waltzed through their last 16 game. A lot of teams waltzed through their last 16 games. But then the quarterfinals is where it gets more interesting. And I think Liverpool that year played Man City in the quarterfinals and beat them. I think I can't actually remember. This would have been the year that Tottenham. Oh no, Tottenham beat Man City. That's right, and that's when it kind of got interesting because Tottenham played Man City in the quarterfinals, and that's when the country protection stopped. Was the quarterfinals. So, and it just goes to show, I think, if you can keep a tournament condensed with quality, then it's just going to be a lot more entertaining. That's a ball in behind was well played. Oh, Wells cleared for a corner. What I would say is if the quality then gets dispersed through more teams, then you've got a case to make a tournament bigger. But at the moment, what they're doing is they're just making it bigger because they want more money. They're not making it bigger because they see more talent down the leagues, as it were. Although in international football, that doesn't mean they're leagues. They're not leagues. They're just nations. I'm just going to check to see if I can see my battery. I can't. That's fine. I see my battery there. Nope. Review. Can't see it there. Can't see it there. You. And you. Turkey just playing the ball around the Wales penalty area. Now they put the ball in the box and it is cleared. Yeah. That's annoying. I want to be able to see my own phone's battery, but I can't tell. That's a nice ball. Turkey could be in here. That's a good block again. They're holding on. They are holding on. I haven't checked the Croatia score in a bit of a while. It looks like they're still winning. Yep. I think. Yep. 1-0 still to Croatia. But yeah, I think in the case of the Euros, back when they did it for just 16 teams, the quality was all there. And that kind of made it all the more impressive that a team like Greece, who in 2004 went on to win the European Championships. Oh, that's a chance. It's a great save from Ward. Oh, what a great save. It was just a pinpoint header. Oh, Johnson could be onto that one. That was close. Was it Johnson or was it Roberts? I'm not sure. Like a Broadhead. That save from Ward was brilliant. The corner gets played in. Player right in the middle of the penalty area, and he just gets his head on it and ends up hitting it straight at Ward. If that ball goes a little bit towards right or left, it goes in. There's no way that he saves it because it's going too fast. But yeah, the quality of a 16-team Euros was just way better than the quality of what we have now as a 24 team and then eventually a 32 team. It will be, I guarantee you, it won't take long before they make the Euros a 32 team tournament. And I'm not interested in watching that, man. It will end up being, if you watch snooker or tennis, that's a good example of what could potentially happen to a lot of these tournaments. In that, in snooker and tennis, the televised part of the tournament happens in what you might call the first round proper. But even those games are basically, they feel like warm-up games. It's very rare that you see one of the top players get knocked out at that early stage. And in fact, in snooker, there used to be a rule, which ended pretty recently, where if you were a certain high enough seed, you didn't have to play through qualifiers. Obviously, I think in tennis that is also the case. Um, Obviously, that's the case in tennis, but in snooker, that rule was actually abandoned, I believe. I don't think you. Oh, that's a nice ball. It's the far post. Ampadu heads it straight at the goalkeeper. That was a really good chance, that. Um, yeah, you don't. I don't think you have to qualify. I know you don't have to in tennis, but I think you might have to qualify regardless of your seeding. At least that's what was mooted, I think. Um, which meant it upset quite a lot of players, I think, in the snooker world. But it meant that gave people who weren't in that seeding bracket, who are often always the same players, a chance to qualify for these big TV tournaments. But in snooker, there's not enough size of tables in order um, to qualify, to have like 128 128 players playing on TV like you do in tennis. In Wimbledon, for example, I think it starts off with like 128 or something. Is it 128? 32, 64, 120. Yeah, I did get it right. Yeah, 128. There is that many teams, that many players. That should have been a Wales goal kick there. Should have been a Wales goal kick. But really, the quality, the big kind of matches don't start happening until last 32, last 16, if that. I think Broadhead's come off for Gadael. Wait, no, for Brooks. Okay, so those are the Welsh names. Interesting. There you go. I'm watching this on Welsh BBC, so or S4C if you're being picky. That's a nice touch. That here goes Johnson. Johnson's coming inside. Oh, the Welsh player gets in the way. Oh, that could have been a brilliant goal. And the Welsh, I don't know what he's doing. This is like this is a classic example of why teams are just not organised going forward sometimes in international football. He goes inside and he ends up accidentally blocking the player. Oh, if I were Johnson, I'd be livid. I'd be livid. I mean, I think to be fair, part of me would be livid, but part of me would be kicking myself that I didn't go for the far post, because that's clearly where the other player's not running to, and he actually would have been a really good cover for that shot. But anyway, yeah. So snooker, the oh, that's a nice ball in behind for Turkey that could be in here if they get this. It's just taking a bit of time here, and that could have been a penalty. He goes to block it. I don't think it should be a penalty. The handball rule's a mess right now, so whether it is a penalty, I have no idea. But he goes to block it. It comes off his foot and his ankle, possibly, and then onto his arm, and then down. We'll see. Another run by Turkey. That was nice, and it's just about cleared by Wales. But yeah, with those tournaments, those massive, massive tournaments, what? Well, yeah, it's not charging, is it? Change this round. So, might have to switch camera for a second. Oh, that's well clear at the end. I say switch camera. I shouldn't actually have to. Should just very much. Oh, that's ridiculous. I have to just go. Give me a second, guys. Okay, we are back. I brought portable battery. Yeah. Right. It's still, yeah. Looks like it's still 1-0 to Croatia. Yeah. Still 1-0 to Croatia. For as long as it's 1-0 to Croatia, there is still hope for this Welsh team. So if you've got, as I was saying before, I keep getting interrupted from this argument, but if you've got a 128 team tournament, naturally the quality is going to be diluted. And that's arguably, that happens in snooker. Having said that, what happens in snooker is, well, it is a tournament called the Masters, which is an amazing tournament that happens kind of February time every year. And it only contains the top 16 players. And that is it's probably the highest quality tournament in the snooker calendar, because it only includes food, more than the 16 teams. From a quality point of view, you're kind of throwing it away a bit, really, I would expect. But there you go. And in tennis, you can tell that the quality doesn't really happen until the latter stages, because all of the good players, you think about your Federers, Nadal, Djokovic, Murray, not really being very recent here, but a lot of those players, and even now, some of the higher seeds often get to the latter stages. And that's where you can probably switch off on the early rounds, because you know that the best players are going to go through. So you lose the jeopardy. And sport, generally speaking, it gets its popularity from jeopardy. And if there's no jeopardy if there's no jeopardy involved, there's a corner for Turkey. Oh, it's spilled by Ward. Turkey absolutely make a mess of putting the ball back in the box. They put it back in though, and it is cleared, and that should be a Wales free kick. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. There's a little bit of context. I mean, I remember watching. This wouldn't happen now, by the way. I think this crazy. This game I'm about to talk about was probably one of the best games at a Euros ever. And it was England against France in the Euro 2004 in Portugal, which was the last time, not the last time, but one of the last Euros that we only had 16 teams there. Because I believe at Euro 2012 there were 24 teams at that tournament. Yeah, in that game, England-France, I think England were winning from a Sol Campbell header until the last few minutes, and then France scored. Like Zidane, was it Zidane who scored twice from a free? Is he given a penalty here? Are you kidding me? Oh my days, he's given a penalty to Turkey. Wales have been doubly done over by VAR today. If this is given a penalty, I can't believe what I'm watching. Some of this refereeing nonsense I've seen in the last 2 days There's a ball into the box. He runs towards it. He's not getting anywhere near the ball. And Ben Davies just puts his arm across. He gives him a little push. But the fact is he's not getting anywhere near the ball, so it's never a foul. I cannot believe that decision. I cannot believe it. They're not going to overturn it as well. That's the thing. I think like if you think the VAR is non-interventionist in the Premier League, you got no idea, because in Europe, it's completely non-interventionist. Like nothing changes with VAR. I'm assuming that there's VAR. I mean, I might be wrong, but I thought there was VAR at all of the European qualifiers. Penalty to Turkey. Well, this will definitely be a kick in the backside. Oh dear, and it's 1-1. It's 1-1. It's 1-1. That is such a depressing moment, man. Such a depressing moment. Ben Davies is livid, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him, because that's never a penalty. And the fact that Wales were given, they should have had a penalty earlier in the first half. They should be 2-0 up in this game before that Turkey goal happens. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know what would top it off is a second Croatia goal, but it doesn't look like that's happening right now. They've had 17 shots and 9 on target. Oh my days. Greece are drawing 2-2 with France. Fair play. Anything else interesting happening? 5-0 to the Netherlands. Only 5 for the Netherlands against Gibraltar. Only 5. That's a foul. Yeah. I just think the referee has made so many terrible key decisions in this game now. Like 3 or 4 really poor decisions in this game. And he's now opening it up to challenges like this going in. And they're inevitably going to be blown as fouls and free kicks. And yeah, it's easy. He's lost control. He's lost control. Because I think if you stump down early on challenges like the one we've just seen here, where it just goes through the back of Nico Williams there, if you stomp down on that kind of challenge, then you don't lose control of the game later on. But it looks like he's kind of lost control now, really. Wales going to play out from the back. I think we're going to see a very different game now that goal's happened. Very, very different game. Wales has spent most of the game in front as a game state. A very favourable one for them, because they like to sit back, absorb the pressure, hit them on the counter, and it was working. You could argue they should have been 2 or 3-0 up after the first half, but then with that decision, I think it's kind of wrecked Wales' game plan a little bit. Really, it made it very, very difficult. There you go. That is the way these things happen, unfortunately. Well, it's just about keep the ball. They're going to try and put a bit of pressure on. They need someone to step up and just start to dictate this game a bit for them now that they've got the ball. And they're going to try and play it through this Turkish team, who are going to be stubborn. Remember, they only need a point. Now, Turkey are back top of the group as well. So as I was saying, they only need a point to go top of the group. And they've got that point now. Wales have created a bit of an opportunity here. So it's nice possession. They're keeping it all right, but they're not really shifting it around quick enough. And they've lost it. They've been robbed. And Turkey could potentially be on the counter here. That's not an amazing pass, but he's still got it. He cuts inside his left here. He's got a free man on the left-hand side, or he takes the shot on. Oh my goodness me, that was close. That was just over the top and wide. Really, really close, that. Oh my days. I think that might flick off the crossbar, you know. It was an amazing shot. Does that flick off the crossbar? It does. It just flicks. Tiniest flick off the top of the crossbar there. What an amazing shot that was. And I mean, you can say everything. You can say anything about the decision and how the Turkey are pretty fortunate to be still in this game. You've got to say the spirit that they've shown to stay in the game and keep it going. Absolutely brilliant. Really, really good. And especially after the start that Wales made, they put a lot of pressure on after scoring that first goal. And Wales really should have gone 2 or 3 nil up after that start. They haven't done, and they've kind of paid the price for that a bit, I think. Just going to check the score from the other game again. I'm going to keep doing this because, albeit now it's a bit of a long shot because Wales also need to score as well, which is unfortunate. Here's the ball in the box for Wales. Oh, that header. And it's... What was that for? Offside? Hmm. Referee was looking like he was reaching towards his pocket towards Ben Davies, so I'm pretty sure it's already been booked. Got to be careful. There are playoffs to be played, and okay, I think he's given it for the foul by Davies. He's been a bit too hands-on. Speaking of like David, I think this is a bit of a side point, but it's interesting looking at Davies playing in this game, and he does look like when he's tested defensively. Yes, you can say he's unfortunate to give away the penalty because I don't think the player's getting anywhere near it. But the fact that Ben Davies is the one who gives away the penalty um, doesn't bode well for Tottenham going forward because they only have, I mean, they don't have Romero for 2 more games, and Davies is going to have to play alongside Dyer at centre back, um, and that's not great to see when you're a player. You need to be a strong defensive player in the team, and they're just not going to be able to do it. It's very high press here from Turkey. We've got 3, 4 players in the Welsh defensive third. 5 now. Played back to Ward. He's going to have to hoof this. Yep. And that could be Turkish ball. No, well, Wales keep it. And they have almost got the flick on. If he gets that flick on, it's 2-on-2. 15 minutes left for Wales to get a winner and finish the qualification campaign on a high. And oh, something changed there. No, it was just another minute. Yeah, so this was the penalty challenge on Johnson earlier in this game. And another one on Johnson. And I don't know about that one. I think that one's a bit... He runs past him and he gets a clip, but it's not a particularly big deal. But then to get this one go for Turkey, I think, yeah, it's ridiculous. He's nowhere near the ball. He's nowhere near getting to the ball. And amazingly, Turkey end up getting the penalty. But there were 3 very clear penalty shouts. 3, definitely 2, arguably 3 penalty shouts that you could have given to Wales in this game. I think if you're a Wales fan, I'd be gutted, absolutely gutted. They didn't deserve. I don't think they deserve to be losing this or drawing this game. Even I think they deserve to be winning it. They've been the better team. And Turkey have played within themselves, and they've gotten away with a point. If that's how this is going, Dan James is coming on. Interesting that Dan James is not really playing from the start for Wales. I've always thought of James as being one of the best kind of up and coming wingers, at least for pace. I'm very surprised that he doesn't get in this Wales team, given all the hype that's been around him for the last few years. If you remember, he moved to Man United from Leeds, I think. I think it was Leeds, yeah. And he scored against Chelsea, I think, in his first game for United. No, I don't get me wrong. I never thought that James was Man United material. unless he did a lot of improving. But I don't think like in this Wales team, there's not like it's not a huge amount of quality in the wing positions. Um, but I think it just goes to show if you're a speedster, I don't think you it's not an automatic pass to go through and play in a first team in the top team. I don't think that's always the case anymore. I think you need more than that. Even some of the best pacey players going back 20, 30 years ago, I think this kind of shows why Theo Walcott, like at Arsenal, wasn't. I wouldn't ever necessarily have called him a world class player ever. Like Alexis Sanchez came to the club and basically played better than him straight away. Um, I just don't think. I think when Theo came, he was he was a player very much dependent on his pace, and outside of that, he didn't have a great deal. And he developed a game around it, which actually was very, very good and technically excellent. But I think the thing he lacked was the knowing what position he was supposed to play in, because he seemed to talk a lot about playing striker, and Arsenal never really felt like he could, consistently at least. And then um, also having that kind of physical attribute of being a top player. Well, I think yeah, it's on yeah. Of being a top player, it's like being able to bully players off the ball and that kind of thing, which you do kind of need to play that central striking role, or you need excellent technical ability to dribble past players in a wing position, and he had neither. So there you go. And that's how football's changed from maybe 40 years ago, where you could probably just be pacey and that was enough. I think probably enough. 9 minutes to go. Turkey have a free kick, just about 40 yards out from the right hand side. Gonna whip it in. That's a should be a ward take. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Not a good free kick, that one, to be fair. Pretty average. Well, imagine if Armenia score now. This game becomes a lot more interesting. At the moment, it's a bit dead because that Armenia game is still 1-0 to Croatia. And that game will finish before this one does. So this game's significance could finish very, very quickly, at least for Wales anyway. For Turkey, they still need the point. If Croatia win, Turkey need a point to finish top. What's happened here? So who's got booked here? Artakoglu's got booked. Okay. Right. Ball into the box for Wales. Lockyer, Ampadu. All the suspects are in the box for Wales. Here's the ball. It's not a good one. It's not a good one. Oh dear. Ward's gonna probably launch this. No. Ampadu takes it. So looking forward to the weekend. I haven't actually mentioned this yet, but I don't think I'm going to be able to stream the Brentford Arsenal watch along. I don't think I'm going to do that because I'm a bit too busy. Oh, here's a chance for Wales, just dribbling on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, just cleared in the end. Yeah, I don't think it's realistic for me to stream a watch along for the Brentford Arsenal game because I'm going to be busy. Pretty much like it's very, very close towards the end of the game, and given how injury time seems to be kind of lasting a very long time in games, I don't. If I've got an appointment that I need to be somewhere, oh, that's lovely. He's in. He's in on goal. Oh, what a lovely chip! What a lovely goal! Is Johnson onside? No. The referee has shown his flag. Please, please let there be VAR. This will confirm it at least. I would have hoped. But he could have potentially been offside. There's a lovely ball in behind. No, he is offside. He's definitely offside. It was a really good finish from Johnson. Really nice, just hanging off the edge of the edge of the. But he just didn't really. And this is the thing. I don't think Johnson is quite good enough. I prefer him playing on the wing, personally. I know that this game was kind of favoured in playing up front, because of the way that Turkey have gone 1-0 down and they've had to push, and he's been a really good outlet going forward. But I don't think he's a clever enough striker to be able to get the ball or to stand on the last man and run him behind. He's just not that good yet. He might be in the future, but he's not that good yet. Whereas playing on the wing, I think you get a lot more out of him in terms of his offensive output. He'll be able to put a ball in the box. He'll be able to dribble past a couple of players. He did create the chance for the penalty he should have had. Well, there's another ball over the top. Don't think he's getting there though. No, goalkeeper's there. He created another chance, I think, for a penalty, which he was dribbling from the right hand side. So I don't think Wales have. Listen, I think that a lot of games are decided by the result, obviously, but a lot of the perception of a game depends on what the final score is. And if this does finish 1-1, I think you've got to go back and say, well, playing Johnson at striker is just not it. It's not it at all. It might have looked all right in the game, but I do think maybe playing him as a right winger and somehow changing the setup, being a bit more aggressive with how you play it, I think that makes a big difference. Wales have got it back on the left side. That's nice, but that's nowhere near good enough. That, and it's probably going to give a foul. Nope, he's not. Wales have it. Dan James gets it back on the right hand side. Going to try and dribble it through. That's a lovely ball inside. A chance to cross the ball in the box, and it's well cleared. Going to try and clip it back into no one. I don't know who was there. Should have just let that go. There was no one there. Oh dear. Wales could be beaten on the counter here. The ball wide. That's a great tackle, that. A little bit from Rodon. It's a bit aggressive. If he gets that wrong, he's sent off. He dives in. Goodness me, I tell you what. Yes, well done. You win the tackle, but like it's partly because the Turkish player doesn't want to put a foot in there. I think if the Turkish player decides to put a foot in, then he's in trouble. It's very long because he's diving in, and so you can't make a tackle like that in modern football anymore. You just can't. Look at that little push from the Welsh player there. That's going to be a goal kick. We're getting to that point of the game now where Turkey are going to be playing it from the corner, play it into the corner, just try and keep it there. Because at the moment, this point is a win for them. They're going through as group winners at this rate. It's 89 minutes in the other game between Croatia and Armenia. Still 1-0 to Croatia. That's a foul. Yeah. I don't know why the Turkish player doesn't just let that go there. He just kicked it right back to the Welsh players there. He clearly didn't know a lot about that. That's interesting. But what is going on? Why are Turkey doing that? That's not a good ball in the box though. That's a foul. Yeah. Who was that? I don't know why you're zooming in on the ref there. Ampadu was just stupid there. He tries to go for the ball and he's like, no, I'm not going to go for the ball. I'm just going to push him a little bit and then run in and get the ball behind him. And ref saw straight through that. Some of their play has not been very professional in this game. Got to be said from Wales. I'll say it as I see it. I'm not surprised necessarily. I think I've got to say, looking at this from a completely objective point of view, it'd be very difficult for me to argue that Wales are a better team than Turkey. At home, I think they should be beating them, but I don't necessarily think they've been better. And today, I think they have been better than Turkey, but I'm not sure they necessarily, on paper, would be expecting to beat Turkey. It's a very complicated point to make there, but what I'm saying is, like on paper, they're probably about similar levels of teams. But at home, Wales would expect to beat them, and today they would expect to beat them because of the way they've played. They've definitely played better than Turkey, and they've had multiple penalty appeals, which I think they were pretty nailed on. They've not necessarily had that many chances, and Turkey arguably have had maybe not the better chances, but at least as good as. But if you count penalty shots, penalty shouts as chances, then yes, they've had more. But I think that's all it was always going to come down to in this game. First minute of injury time in Croatia, still 1-0 to Croatia. Ooh, that was calm from the goalkeeper there. Takes a little touch and goes in behind. Turkey just playing the long ball up here, trying to get a bit of reaction. That was nice. Good play from the... Who was that? That was really good. Well played. Dribble round one player, started dribbling another couple of players, and ended up getting a throw. 4 minutes of injury time. That is not a lot. That's not probably enough. Oh, you never know. You never know. But I think this is tricky now for Wales. Bear in mind they need 2 goal events to happen now. One here for them to win it, and then another one for Croatia, well, against Croatia. But then James didn't get to that one. Gotta try it. Gotta try it. I've got to try it. It's 1-0. It's finished in Croatia. 1-0 to Croatia. And that is Wales's chances of qualifying over from the group, at least. They can still qualify through the playoffs, but that is game over here. Now they're just playing for pride. And to potentially stop Turkey from... oh, that's a chance. Oh, the flick at the near post from James. I think it's going to be tough for Wales, given that just based on... Obviously, the weird thing about this is those playoffs that we're talking about, they're 6 months away. It's 6 months away. 5 months? 5 months away, let's say. We're almost the end of November, so it'd be like 4 months, but it's still a long time. It's a third of a year. I just don't think you can say that I think it's very difficult to say with much confidence that Wales should be winning this game. Let me rephrase that. So that Wales are absolutely favourites to win their playoffs. I just don't. When I read out the teams earlier, and I'll read them out again after the game. When I read out the teams earlier, there's no guarantee they're going to win those games, especially and the way they're playing. This is kind of what I'm getting to, really. The way they're playing, I just don't think. I think they've done it remarkably well to get it to this stage. Bear in mind that Croatia result threw the whole group wide open for both Turkey and for Wales. Because without that, I think Croatia go on and win the group comfortably. If Croatia won that group, and Wales probably wouldn't be in this position to qualify. So it does mean that you've got to say maybe the expectations have been raised somewhat by that result a little bit artificially, and really their real position is getting into the playoffs, having a crack at that. 2 one-off games. If they win both of them, they're through. Fair enough. But I think even then, like I was talking about this on Saturday, if they go through, are they just whipping boys at that point? Or are they good enough to make a challenge for it? Here's the free kick. Flicked over the bar. Not over the bar, flicked wide. Turkish players are claiming something. Not quite sure what. But it is going to be a corner to Wales. Ward is up. I don't know why. Why is he up for this corner? Dear, it's not like it actually matters. It doesn't matter. Far post. That was nice. Ah, the control just wasn't there. Control just was not there. And if this is amateur refereeing, oh, that's nice. Really nice. Oh no, the touch. And there again, is that it? That's full time. Referee has blown the final whistle, and it's 1-1. And Wales have failed in their they've failed in their quest to qualify from this group, but they still have a chance through the playoffs. And as this game has finished, we're gonna just have a quick look at the playoffs and how they're going to work. So we know that there will be a draw that will happen, I think, pretty soon. I think I don't know when this draw is actually going to happen, but Wales have got Finland, Ukraine, or Iceland. One of those will play them in the semi-final in Wales, which is a good thing. Hopefully, for their sake, they get Iceland, because I think that's a home run right there. They just need to, if they go and do that, sorted. I think that should be a win for them. And then it's Poland or Estonia, and hopefully Estonia get through, but it's unlikely. So it'll probably be Poland. Poland in the final, which you could have a draw go for or against Iceland. That for Iceland for before or they could go for or against Wales in terms of whether they're going to do it home or away. So we will see what happens with that. But there you go. That is how that has finished. A real has that been the fight as well? What happened there? What happened there? Someone's been there's a scuffle. Roberts has lost it. There's a few players who have lost it here. It's not worth it, guys. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. Calm it down, man. There's still chances for Wales. I think I'd understand this if this was Wales' absolute last chance of qualifying. I think the emotions run high. Turkey haven't exactly been. I wouldn't necessarily say that Turkey have necessarily behaved badly in this game. They've been very aggressive. They've been physical, but that's fine. Someone's going to be sent off here, I think. Are they? Oh, the ref's doing something. Oh no, it's booking Roberts. Okay, after the final whistle. Weird. Yeah. So it's not like it's all over for Wales. It's not. They've still got the playoffs. If they can get obviously the 2 wins that they need in the playoffs, then they're through to the Euros. My argument here is like, well, if they go through the playoff, is this team even good enough to actually make an indent in the Euros? I don't think so. Then they're way off it. They're defensively haphazard at best, and offensively they are a bit toothless. You're losing Gareth Bale. I think that's a real hard. That's a hard position to be in. I think that's a really, really difficult position to be in. For this team, we've relied on Bale for years. Bale has been the reason why he was pretty much the sole reason why they qualified for the last Euros and the World Cup. And he was one of the big reasons why they did so well in Euro 2016. So, yeah, we will see with Wales. I enjoyed watching Wales tonight, though. I think if it hadn't have been for that ridiculous penalty decision, which I think for some reason I don't even know if VAR was actually at. I'm just going to check this actually. Were VAR at this game? It's not showing me this. Were VAR at this game? Well, apparently there's talk about Rob Page being sacked. which is, I think, a little bit over the top. You need to keep them at least for the playoffs, surely. Oh my goodness! Why would you look for a new manager right now? If you don't understand that, I think you've got to leave it until the playoffs. Then when the playoffs finish, that's the end of the qualifying, and then you can decide. Okay, do you qualify or not? Fair enough. Let me just check on. They'll say on the BBC Sport website whether there's no talk of VAR. It doesn't say anything about whether there's VAR or not, or not even. Of course, they were missing Chris Mepham tonight as well through suspension. But yeah, very, very, very frustrating night for Wales. And I think, to be fair, they're fighting at the level that they should be. I don't think they should. Well, you can't stop someone from dreaming, of course. But I think if they got to the Euros, that would potentially be the best achievement that Wales have had in living memory, outside of getting to the last four of the Euros in 2016. Outside of that, it's probably their best achievement, because this group of players is not there yet. They're not it. Give them a few years. I think the next Euros, so the 2028 Euros, absolutely they could qualify for that one. They could do quite well in that one. Yeah, but that is pretty much that. I think I'm probably going to be signing off here. Thank you everyone for watching. We have 53 views tonight on YouTube. Don't even know what's happened on Twitch, but we'll see. I do subscribe on Twitch. I stream on Twitch, even. I do stream on Twitch, and I stream on YouTube. The next watch along we'll be watching will be the massive game at the Etihad, where Man City are playing Liverpool. I'm so looking forward to that game. As an Arsenal fan, it's finally a big game I can watch and I can just relax, because I know that Arsenal are in a good position in the league, and one of our title rivals are going to lose points. Personally, I hope it's Man City, because I think that would make for a more interesting title race if Liverpool end up winning if City end up winning that game. I think it's one of the 4 games this season. They've already lost one of them away at Arsenal. They've got 3 others, home and away to Liverpool, and then at home to Arsenal. If they win all those other 3 games, I think they'll probably end up winning the league, because those are probably going to be the 2 closest challenges to Arsenal this season. But yeah, I think that is going to be me for today. We also had 5 concurrent viewers on YouTube. Thank you very much, everyone who decided to watch. I think it was about the time when the game kicked off. But yeah, I will be seeing you guys. And we had 2 likes as well. Fantastic. Thank you very much, guys, for the likes. Thank you for watching the stream. And I'll see you guys on Saturday for that game. And I won't be on for the Brentford Arsenal game, as I've already discussed. But I will be watching the Man United Everton game, which is another huge game for Man United and their seemingly endless relationship with crisis as they continue to battle on in the Premier League. But yeah, have a great rest of the week, guys. Thanks for coming along, and I will see you guys next on Saturday. Right.